ways that I work with Nema, watu walikuwa wanakuja kwangu kuniita, Leah, tumeona takataka imetupwa pale.
No way.
No. You see, it's not
wanataka wewe utoe.
Yes. You know, Nema is not supposed to go and collect that garbage that has been thrown there. But our work is now to supervise the institution that is supposed to do that, and we know them, the county government.
Yes. Hi guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Pulpit Podcast. This is episode 17, and I'm excited to say that this is the final episode of 2024. We officially released our first episode in September. I can't remember what date, but this concept came to be in September, and it's so exciting to announce to you guys that this is the final episode of the year. Not to say that BTP Meisha 2025 we are coming back, and we're coming back with a banger. You expect more guests, expect to learn even more from some guests who have sat here and some who are going to be very new faces, and I'm excited for that. But before that, I hope you enjoyed your festivities and you're ready to cross over to the next year with God and safe with your families. Before we proceed, let's do it as per usual, reminding you to subscribe. Awezi kuwa umetuwatch kutoka September hadi saa hii na unataka tukue tunavuka na wewe mwaka na hauja subscribe. You see how people off fake friends anga sijui nini when the year is beginning and when the year is ending. We will cut you off as a viewer if you've not subscribed. So kindly subscribe. Follow us on our social media pages, Facebook Beyond the Pulpit Kenya, TikTok BTP Kenya, Songa Play, stream if you're streaming. On Spotify we're also at BTP Kenya, Instagram at Beyond the Pulpit Kenya. That's why you get a lot of behind the scenes. You'll get to know what guests we are having when, even before the episodes air. It's been lovely having you, and I hope you're going to enjoy this episode as we look forward to 2025. So karibuni sana to another episode, and I hope you're going to enjoy this one because I'm looking forward to it. My guest today is a very interesting person, someone I've known for a while. Okay, to say kumjua inamaanisha ninamjua, but I've been seeing her. I know her name, I know her kids. I know what she does in church, but I've never heard her story, so I'm pretty much excited for this one. Her name is Leah Ngige. Karibu sana Leah.
Pleasure.
Welcome to my set. Juleo niko peke yangu. My co-host has ditched me once again. Hi Larry. Thank you very much for ditching me. 2025 nitakukat off hata wewe. So karibu sana. This is Beyond the Pulpit.
Thank you.
This is where we do our thing. I know you've been seeing us doing it.
Yes, I've watched.
Finally it's your turn.
Yeah.
It is your turn to become a guest.
I tell you, I don't like the cameras. I'm surprised I'm here.
Well, there's a first time for everything. Hata mimi nikikuja Beyond the Pulpit. Okay, hapo nitakuwa nitadanganya sijai kwa mbele ya camera, but it was the first time I'm doing it professionally.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a first time for everything. Hakuna manual.
Sure.
Hapa tunapenda kusema feel free. The conversation will just flow. Ni vile tu tunaweza patana hapo nje tuongee, just getting to know you, know your story until where you are. Yeah, so
thank you.
Yeah, karibu sana.
Thank you very much. Well, I've been looking forward to it.
You have?
Silas told me about this sometimes, but
yeah,
he booked me.
Kitambo sana.
Yeah, it's been quite some time when he mentioned to me. So, although I've been like, you know, those butterflies.
Yeah,
I don't know what they are going to ask me.
We totally understand, yeah.
But finally, I'm here. I look forward to interacting and having the conversation. You know? Yeah.
You see, people are always scared of talking or even coming here as a guest because you don't know what to share. But let me tell you, hakuna mtu hana story. No one does. Everyone has a story. So you have a story. A story that probably has not been heard by so many people. So you always have something to share.
So you are the first one. You should have the
me. I have the privilege. Nice. I am honored to be the first one to be able to give you a platform to share your story. So how we are going to do it is you'll tell us a brief history of where Leah grew up, how Leah grew up, and then now, because we mostly focus on your careers, beyond the service of church. Oh, I've not mentioned that she's a teacher of music. She's and she's a good musician. Hey. So we're also going to talk about that. First of all, introduce yourself. I know I've not introduced yourself. I've only said your name. Introduce yourself with the many titles that you hold, and then give us a brief history of how little girl Leah grew up to now who she is right now, and then we are going to talk about your job, your career progression since after high school.
Okay, so my name is Leah Ngige, as you have said, although I have other names. But for now, since I'm known like Leah Ngige, that remains. You can put dash Mwachia.
Okay.
You know Mwachia?
Yes, I know Mwachia.
You can put dash Mwachia. Now, Leah grew up in Muranga.
Wow.
Somewhere in Muranga, in Ushago there. That's where I schooled.
Really?
Until I finished Form 4, from class 1. Sisi ni wale tulienda shule
moja.
Viatu.
Oh.
Yeah,
really?
Bila viatu. Sisi ni wale tulikuwa tunabeba maji kumwaga kwa class, because the class is dusty, so that it can look like something like this floor here, nearer to that. So you can now try to imagine the ears.
I know someone is wondering, what is this one saying? And she's looking like she's a 26-year-old girl.
No, yeah. I went to a school called, do I say the name now?
Yeah, it's okay. They will not fool you.
It is called Kahumbu.
Kahumbu.
Yes.
What side of Muranga did you grow up in? The side of Muranga?
Kigumo.
Oh, okay.
Mothithi. That's where I grew up.
Okay.
You can imagine.
Yeah.
From class 1 to 8, I was there. High school. I went to high school now. I started seeing, nikaanza nusia town sasa. You see, after Form 4, now you are looking for your big sisters who are already in Nairobi. You come and stay with them. And of course, I had big sisters who are already in Nairobi. So after Form 4, you come to stay with your sisters as you wait to join campus. And now I joined college, you know. And now I became a town girl.
There. Uliacha maneno ushago.
Nikaiacha huko sasa. But that's where I grew up when I was young. So tuseme town nilikuja nikiwa around Form 4 unamalizanga ukiwa 15 hapo.
15, not 18?
I mean, sorry. 18.
17, 18, 19.
Sorry, yes, 18. Around there. That's
as an adult.
Mwenyeji wa. You know?
Okay.
Yes. But I went to primary school there. I went to a high school called Kahuhia Girls.
Yeah, okay. It's a good school.
Yes.
It's a good school. It is very so much bad. Known.
Not so bad from Form 1 to Form 4. From there I joined college. I schooled also. I was doing my undergraduate. I did it at the University of South Africa. But online.
Oh, distance learning.
Yes, distant learning.
Okay.
Yeah? I only went there for my graduation. Yes, but that's where I schooled. After that, I joined Nairobi University for my master's degree in information science.
So, how did you learn about the opportunity in University of South Africa? How did you learn there?
I was looking for something that I can do as I do other things. Like I told you, like maybe I have not told you, but I teach music.
Yes.
I wanted to do many things. I wanted to do music. I wanted to do French. I've done a bit of French. I wanted also to be in these drama things. By the way, I am... you call them what? Those who act. I'm an actress.
Oh, wow.
I can act.
Thespian.
Something like that.
Okay.
So I wanted to combine all this. So I didn't want to go to a school where I'll be tied so much. I wanted also to do some work.
Okay.
Kuhaso kidogo hapa na pale, ukipata kitu. So I remember I was working a bit. I was doing the online distant learning. It is distant learning actually. It is not online that time. At the University of South Africa, and I wanted now to do all these other things. And God is good. I did them. And I graduated and I finished, and that's what has brought me where I am today. When I look back, it was not in vain. I can say I achieved. So hard work, some bit of kujinyima kidogo hapa na pale. I remember like when I was doing the distant learning, it is so iko inahitaji a lot of concentration.
It's very demanding.
You need to deny yourself friends, a lot of raha pale hapa na pale. I remember I never used to have friends because you have assignments to do with the deadlines and send the assignments and feedback comes, and it was like a class. You are not physically in class, but I remember when you were doing it, it's almost like you're in class. Yeah, it is so organized, the way they do it. Yeah.
So when you say you're a teacher, I know you're a teacher of music. Did you go to school to learn music? When did your interest in music begin? Are you a certified professional teacher of music? Ulisoma music kama venye ulisoma information science, ama how did you get into the music world?
Yeah. When I was small, now in Shags, as I was growing up, in primary school, in high school, I used to sing. Unajua Sunday school vile watoto wanaambiwa wewe kuja uongoze hapa. I used to be the one going there to lead with the mic and all that. I also high school, I used to come for music festivals, you know, in high school, set piece and all that. And I used to like the way I used to see teachers interpreting the notes, the music notes.
Yeah.
It's called, I came to learn later, it's called sight reading.
Okay.
Where you read the note and you can interpret it and put it into music. So I used to like that a lot. I used to admire them. I used to admire the conducting. You know the way we throw away hands here.
Yeah.
Yes.
It looks very aimless.
It's not just throwing hands here. You are conducting your choir, how they will sing when you want them to go loud, softest, and all that. I used to admire that. I used to wonder how a teacher can command such a choir to sing so well. And so that interest took me to school. So when I finished Form 4 and somehow when I'm in college, you see now I'm doing distant learning.
Yeah.
I enrolled at the Kenya Conservatoire of Music.
Okay.
It is at the National Theatre. Yeah, so I did some music there. Basic, knowing how to read notes, how you can key your choir, how you can interpret a song and know this song should be faster, slower, you know, such things. And after that, I realized, I'm not yet there. I still need more of music. So I went to the Winton House of Music again. It used to be at their center. I'm not sure whether they are still. Yes.
Okay.
I'm not sure whether they are still there. I added to what I had.
Yeah.
Mine was not to be certified or to get a certificate, although they used to tell me you can do exams, but you know we fear exams.
Yeah.
So I used to tell them mine is just to train.
It's an interest.
Yes, it's an interest which I want to develop. And kumbe voila, here I am training choirs. I never used to think that I would train a choir. But now I'm doing it in our church here, and I'm enjoying it, especially training the little ones.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do with the youth choir. Sometimes I do with the senior choir a lot, by the way. Yeah, I remember there is a time I used to be the main trainer. That's another part of my story. I don't know how we'll get there, but somehow
we will get there. Yeah.
Part of my story. So that's how much music I have done. Not so much and not so little, because it helps me to do what I need to do. Yeah.
Have you ever thought of using your knowledge in music or being a full-time music teacher without this other bit of your career?
Nowadays I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking in terms of when I retire. You know, you want to look ahead and see, when I retire, what do I want to do? I don't want to do business. I'm not a business lady. So I'm thinking like that's what I want to do when I retire, when I'm not at my place of work, which we will talk about it later. That's what I want to do when I'm not doing anything in the house. I want to do music, and I love choral music. I'm not a fan of sorry to say solo. You know solo artists, and they'll forgive me, but I'm a fan of choral music. You know, choral music is arranged
many
music
voices.
with many voices, can be 2, 4 and so on. I am a fan of choir singing, and that blend of when I hear the alto, the soprano, the bass, and I can stand there and listen. So I love that. That's what I want to do.
That is something you see yourself doing
Yes.
till your grave.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
And it's interesting to see that you turned you would want to turn an interest that you had since childhood.
You know, when I was now growing up in that place I've told you,
Murang'a.
in Shags, I grew up in an Anglican church. By the way, this is another information.
Yeah.
I grew up strictly in a Christian family, strictly where not going to church was a sin. Usipoenda kanisa utakuja kusema ulikuwa wapi.
Unalala kwa nyumba ya nani?
Yes. It was that strict. My parents. So going to church was a must for us. So if Leah is not in church, then she's at home or now at school or now in the office. You know, those places are the ones you could find some of us strictly.
Yeah.
So when I was there, we used to do music festivals for Sunday school. We used to do festivals up to the diocese level in the Anglican church.
Oh, you had competitions, like inter-church competitions.
And serious competitions.
Oh, different Anglican churches.
Yes, you come together, you start from the lowest, you go up to the diocese, and you are awarded in all these levels. I used to look forward to this. Oh my God. I used to look forward to this because I loved singing. And there is now this old man, and musicians are not many who can train. And you can imagine in those remote areas, we used to look for a trainer a lot. I remember he used to come from far. Mzee amebebanisha ako kabags, unajua kabag kawazee na pitch pipe akuja afundishe hii choir. My church used to pay for his services. And he was an old man.
Very old.
So he's the one now who also alini motivate sana kufanya music. Because I was like, these music teachers are here. If we can look for somebody to train this choir for all this time. And he used to train us up to the diocese level. Yeah, so I used to love that. And that's why now choral music is so close to my heart. Yes, because I started when I was small.
Yeah.
This teacher would train. And that's also what motivated me, Tracy. I hope I'm not jumping to what now I'm doing in church. Training the
kids,
the junior choir.
Ones,
Because now I remembered how I grew up singing as a small girl in choir, kind of, where we used to sing the soprano and we used to call them voice 1 and voice 2, and I used to be a voice 2 always. And that's a motivation to me doing what I'm doing now in our church and also doing music. Yes.
So that's also something, the same interest this old choir master that instilled in you or showed you, it's the same that you want to pass down to the junior choir that you're interesting. I can see how passionate you are about music. You can talk about it.
As I train them, yes, I can talk about music even more than the environment or more than the information. I can talk about music more because even as I'm training this junior choir, I tell them, sometimes I give them a chance. I can walk out deliberately nikitaka tu niwaambie nichukue mmoja wao mwenye I'm mentoring there are several of them I know. This one, if I leave them in charge, I know they can steer the choir somewhere. Sometimes I walk out and I take one kid and I tell them, I'm leaving you, I'm going somewhere. I'm leaving you here. Make sure these 2 songs you sing, and I'm coming to do a review of how you have done the songs. And do you know, maybe I'll be watching just from nearer,
you're not very far.
And the kids will just come in front and they are standing, and they'll imitate me the way I do.
Even their hands.
What the teacher says.
Yeah.
The way I key them, they will key. And they will start off the choir.
Wow.
Amazing. So they are coming up soon. You'll see another layer.
Yeah.
Yes, and especially the big ones, the pre-teens ones.
Okay.
You know, there are those who are bigger.
Yeah.
Nowadays, they can do that.
And it's interesting that you're even nurturing them. Yeah, at such a young age.
Yes,
that's
want
beautiful.
To see that. I want to see that.
That's amazing. And you're doing a great job with the junior choir, especially because it's not new. It's been running for a few years now.
4 years now.
Yeah, it's been running for a few years now, and it's grown. It's growing in numbers.
Yes.
It's doing you're doing a great job.
Thank God.
Yeah. So I want to know how you landed at information science. You said when you're completing your Form 4, there's a lot you wanted to do. Music, theatre, all of that. Career-wise, other than music and theatre, I want to know, did you have an ambition in mind or a goal in mind or a career in mind such that unajua mimi nikimaliza Form 4 naenda kufanya law or medicine or all of that? Yeah.
Yes, I did. Very much. I had one in mind. I wanted to do journalism. Yes. Not to be on the screens, but I love writing. Even at Nema, where I'm working, I do a lot of writing. Yes, when articles are done, sometimes I can be given to edit. Yeah, I do a lot of editing on reports at our place of work. I do a lot of editing because of now the course that I did, which you talk about later. But I wanted to do journalism. Number one, because I love writing. So I wanted to write, not to be on the screens. To go out, collect information, come and write. I'm a good writer.
Wow.
And then number two, because my dad is a former journalist.
Oh, wow.
Yes. You know the Sandona?
No, I don't.
The Sandona. You know the Voice of Kenya?
VOK.
Yes. My dad is a former producer.
Oh, wow.
Of Sandona. And a commentator of Safari Rally. Yes.
Oh.
And some other programs he used to do.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So you grew up.
So I loved what my dad used to do. I also love reading. Reading. I tell you, there are times, squeeze is for me son, but I can read. Novels. I used to read novels. You know those novels?
Yeah.
When we were growing up?
Yeah.
Newspapers. I used to read. I started reading newspapers kitambo. Squeeze nyinyi mnaona newspapers ni za wazee.
Ni za kufunga nyama.
Because it was in me. I wanted to do something to do with information. But now I didn't get to a journalism school. When I failed to get there, I opted for information science, which is closer to that. Taking care, managing information. And that's how I landed into now my very main course, which is information science.
Okay.
Yes.
Mi najua hizi courses tunazisikia. We know information science. I think everyone here knows someone who knows someone who has done information science, but we really do not understand what is information science. What do you study? What do you become when you study information science? So kindly educate us on that.
Information science is where you learn or you are taken through units that to help you to manage information. When you do information, I can give you careers. I may not be able to tell you exactly what you learn in class, but it is anything to do with the information. Publishing and editing, technology. and that's why I edit. Yes. You can work in a publishing and editing firm. You see these publishers. You can work there. You can work in a media house. Maybe after you watch a program on TV, do you see something written librarians? They may not be librarians per se. Maybe they have no word for no title for them, but what they do is allowed. They are the ones who organize what you see on screens. That after a producer has given some news, there is that hiyo picha inakuja immediately.
Yes.
And they know how to look for them. Maybe it's something, a documentary of something. They are the ones who will look for that. And even know bila wataipanga, bila itakuwa. So you can work in a media house. You can work in a place where they are managing records. You know, records management. You can do that. You see the people who work in archives. You know the Kenya National Archives? They have done information science. You can be a librarian. Like where I work, under my section is also a very small library that we manage because it's part of information. Also, you can be a documentalist. People who take care of documents. They have to be done like this and this. You see, like when we have elections, there are people who arrange those documents to be the way they are. You can also be, like I said, which other career is under our knowledge management? You can be a knowledge manager. That one is so wide. So the information science is very wide. We have all these kind of people and professions coming under that. But what we do is we major. You want to be what? You want to be to work in an archives. You are an archivist. You are a curator. You can work in a museum. All those have done information science. So it's a wide one, and that's why also I loved it because I knew it's a wide variety.
You have a lot of options to pick from. What I'm getting is a lot. Hizo jobs zote zenye umemention, it's places that hold a lot of information. Something like a museum. They have to know about the history of I don't know who and know how to pass it and how to store such information.
Is also another.
Interesting. So you did that for how long? 4 years?
Yes, I did it for 4 years. And then I went for my master's.
Immediately after?
Not immediately. I took some time. Unajua unataka kukulia hii yenye imekukula hivi kwanza. Uikulia kiasi ndio hii ingine. I did it master's. I just did it recently, 2016. 2016 is when I joined the University of Nairobi. For now.
The master's.
My master's.
What happened, or what were you doing immediately after you graduated from University of South Africa? I
was working. From zile ndogo to zile kubwa. I remember my first salary was 5,000
per month.
Yes, 5,000.
Where were you working?
I was working for a transporter who used to transport fuel. Unaona hizi matanka za
petroleum.
Shell. I know him. He used to major on Shell. So there is a lot of documentation that comes with that. So my work was to take the. He used to get some. We call them receipts, or what were they now? All the documentations that come with his transportation business. I used to feed that information in some automated system. Where now he could manage his data somewhere. That was my very first job, you see. Interesting.
Very interesting.
I used to organize it in a manner for him to be able to make decisions very fast, to be able to give reports to Shell, the company Shell. He used to transport for Shell. And anybody else would need some reports. I used to organize. I remember he used to bring me many files.
Paperwork.
Yes, and I used to browse through and feed in some software that he used to manage. That was my very first job.
How long did you do that?
I did that not for a long time. maybe tuseme 1 year. I didn't like it.
And the pay is also not very motivating.
It is not very
It's
motivating.
not very motivating.
Can imagine 5,000. You're looking for something higher.
Yeah.
So I was tamaking. I was looking. I worked for another organization. Now the name is disappearing from my head. But it's an NGO. When it comes, I'll tell you. It's disappearing. But I also used to manage their information, an NGO. I also didn't work there for long. Kidogo tu ukijaribu greener pastures. Every time you're working hard to look for greener pastures where you can get where you want to be. So nilipanda hivyo cheo. I also worked
at the NGO or
yes, NGOs. NGOs before I came to where I am now. I also worked for an organization called the African Economic Research Consortium.
Wow.
That was now my peak.
Oh.
I loved that place. It opened up my career very well. I used to manage their very small library, but mainly their digital information. They used to call it their digital library, where I used to serve. When I'm in Kenya, I used to serve people in Nigeria, people in Cameroon, people, it was very international and interacting with them. I also used to serve students who are doing, that organization used to host a program for students doing masters and PhD in economics. Umesikia inaitwa African Economic Research Consortium. So that time, again now, I used to know a lot of economics. Just like today, I'm somewhere else and I know a lot of anything to do with
what you're doing.
Environmental management and conservation. That time now, I had leaned on that area a lot. And it used to be very interesting. Actually, I interacted with many internationals. Ethiopia call it because they used to bring them together for that course, where now I also used to manage information. Any information needed, I used to go online. I've done, our course also involves a lot of technology. So in it, there is a lot of ICT technology, because you need to search for information. People writing their thesis, writing their projects when they are in school, writing their proposals. We help them a lot to look for information which they need. Yes, and especially when they are doing their chapter 2 of their thesis. They look for us. That time we are
they are needed. You become extra important.
Yes, it is the literature review. I remember literature review when you're writing your thesis. So we help them now we help researchers to get the kind of information they want, because some of them may not know how to mine them from the big internet. The internet,
it's very wide, a lot of information,
and you need to know what you want for your thesis, for your project, for the information you are looking for. Yes,
I'm curious because nimesikia ukisema you started with the job at this oil transporter, and then you worked at an NGO, and then you went to this Africa economics research economics something. At any point did you struggle to find a job? Because that's an experience most people out here have, with internships and attachments and fast jobs. Unaambiwa unaenda ku apply job, unaambiwa they need someone with 3 years experience, but you're just fresh out of college or university. Did you get to experience that?
With a lot of humility, I can say I have never tamaked a lot. Maybe ile kutamak nimetamak maybe 3 months. And that time, 3 months, it's like you are waiting. You have already been promised something.
Oh, it's a transition.
It's a transition to something else. I really thank God for that, and I'm humbled. All glory to God. in my life, I have never, it's like I have moved from this to this. Some places I have resigned.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
You're no longer.
I have, yes, I have resigned to because I have been offered another greener pasture.
Higher, better pay.
Another greener pasture.
Yeah.
So I used to regret writing that letter.
The resignation
I hereby
letter.
wish to submit
My resignation letter.
yes, that was my lowest moment, and especially when I have bonded with the people where I have been working.
Yeah.
So for me, Tracy, I can really thank God. I have never really tarmacked per se and being desperate so much, and all this goes to God who has. Yes,
true.
I thank him.
It's rare. It's
Yes,
honestly
really
it's
thank
very
him.
rare. It's very rare, and that's
I
at
thank
least there's a good story right there.
Yes.
There's a good story right there.
Yes.
So after you worked at the economics research, is that now where you transitioned into Nema?
Now that's where I can say I tarmacked a bit because there before I joined now where I am now, I am at the National Environment Management Authority. I stayed a bit, like 3 months, not so much. Not so much. And even that way, I remember I volunteered to help some people somewhere to put up an information center, a resource, they used to call it a resource center.
A different company?
Yes, a different one.
Oh, okay.
Yes, a different one. I'm also forgetting the name. No, it's a long time ago, Tracy. I do not know the timelines.
Okay.
But it's some time back. So I'm forgetting the name, but I assisted them. I just volunteered to work for them. I just used to go and manage to put up a resource center where people can come and get what they want easily. They wanted that because their information was all over.
So how did you land the job at Nema?
Wow, that's where I have been now for 14 years.
14 years?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
14 years
Okay.
now. I joined Nema in 2009 towards the end. Are those 14 years? I hope my calculation is right. I saw a job advert in the papers, those who say that these jobs iko na wenyewe. Me, I saw a job advert. They were looking for somebody to manage the information.
Wow.
Yes, and I applied and after a long wait, I was called for an interview. I went and sat for an interview. I still remember that interview. And after that again, I stayed for some time before they called me to tell me
To confirm.
you landed the job. And I was so happy. Because again, Tracy, something I didn't mention is when I was working with the NGOs, they give you contracts, especially these are wazungu.
Yeah.
They don't want to get to engage you permanently.
Yeah.
Now this goes to the young people. Yeah, they'll give you contracts. So I sat down and said, no, these jobs, I'm doing it for 3 years, and then you stop. You hang in somewhere. You don't know whether you are still in employment or not.
If it's going to be renewed.
And you have bills to pay. You are also in school. You need, So I hung in there and I said, no, I need something we call permanent and pensionable.
Yeah.
Everybody looks for that.
Yeah.
As much as it was very well paying, this NGO, now I started looking for somewhere I can settle, knowing that I have what we call the job security.
Yeah.
Yes. No one will just wake up one day and tell me, Leah, your services have been no longer needed.
Your services have been declared redundant.
Yes.
Because it happens.
That is something that I did not want it to happen to me. So I started looking forward, and I started looking for jobs, and these jobs mostly you can always get them in Gava.
Permanent and pensionable needs a government.
Mostly they are in the government.
Yeah.
And that's why now when I saw Nema advertising, I said, oh, this one is
Let me
even
just
better.
give it a try.
Yes, it's even a parastato. It's not Gava per se. It's a parastato. So let me try. And I tried, and I went there for an interview, and thank God I got the job. And so I've been there.
14 years later.
Yes.
And you're permanent and pension. And the permanency, 14 years.
14 years.
Wow.
14 years. When you are there, Tracy, you are still also looking for greener pastures.
Oh, it's one leg inside and then there's another leg.
One outside.
Very ready to run.
You are there, but I can tell you, after 3 years, people can tell you, those who have been in informal employment, after 3 years of working in an office, you feel that you want a change. Something naturally in you tells you you want a change. And if it doesn't happen to you, something is wrong with you. So after 3 years, I can tell you, being in Nema, I started feeling like I still need to be somewhere else. But now you can't go lower. You can always go higher.
Yeah.
Now that's where the problem is. This higher place and this P&P, you may not get it so easily. So until now, I'm looking for that higher.
Yeah. Till 14 years later.
14 years later.
Wow. You'll get it. You'll get it.
I hope so.
Mungu hajalala.
I hope so.
I want you to tell us. You said Nema means National Environment Management Authority. Tumesikia stories za Nema, especially when plastic bags were being gotten rid of. They were telling you ukipatikana na paper bags zile za black na green, zile ziko na calendar, you're going to be arrested. So tell us what that institution or the parastatal does. What do you people handle?
So Nema was formed under an act of parliament. We call it, the act is called the Environmental Management, EMCA, Environmental Management and something. It's an act of parliament of 1999.
Oh.
Yes, EMCA. This EMCA is inanipotea na kitu tunatumia kila siku. I don't know why. Environmental Management and Coordination Act. It is the word coordination that was running away from my mind. Yes, it is an act of parliament of 1999. So we are the organization that does the work of coordinating and managing and supervising all matters to do with the environment. So please note, our work is to coordinate and supervise. We may not go out there and do it, but we supervise. Like when people came to learn in Kahawa West that I work with Nema, watu walikuwa wanakuja kwangu kuniita, Leah, tumeona takataka imetupwa pale.
No way.
No. You see, it's not
wanataka we utoe.
Yes. Nema is not supposed to go and collect that garbage that has been thrown there. But our work is now to supervise the institution that is supposed to do that. And we know them, the county government.
Yes.
Isn't it? Yeah, if they fail us, now we are supposed to work with them hand in hand and tell them, people from this area are complaining, their place is dirty. Can you organize? If they don't, at Nema we have very many departments. We also have a legal unit where we sue, or we are also sued.
Oh.
Yes, we sue and we are sued when we don't do our work. Yes, we are sued, and we can also sue those who don't do as we are preaching to take care of the environment and to provide a clean and healthy environment for all Kenyans. So that's what we do.
Supervising. Okay.
And
coordinating. And by environment, you mean literally everything from noise pollution.
Yes. from noise, from waste management,
okay.
from the air quality, the air we breathe in, we manage that. And Tracy, we have regulations pertaining to all this. We have acts that when we are taking somebody to court because they made noise, we will be armed with an act of parliament, which is a regulation, to say that when lawyers go there, imagine they say, according to the act, to this act, you have hujafuatilia, you know. So we have an act that we use for to sue people who are making noise there, noise pollution, and
we've been seeing that
excessive
happen.
vibration.
Yeah.
So it's not only noise. Even when people are building, or these quarries.
Oh.
Yes.
Especially in the residential area.
They are, what do you call them? When they are wanatoa hizo mawe, there is this blast. You see, that is noise and excessive vibration. We are against that. The air we breathe, when people are burning litter around your house and there is that smoke that is coming to your house. Yes, wanaharibu mazingira yako, and you have all the right to sue them.
Oh wow.
Yes. So water quality, the water we drink, we are responsible for that. We are responsible for the ecosystems and biodiversity in the environment. If people harm, or they go, either they plant or they wanakata miti, and that's why there was this debate about eucalyptus trees. You remember?
Yeah.
Sometime back.
Yeah.
Yes. It is because we are managing that. So anything to do with the environment that harms the environment, including the waste, we do that. Yes.
Okay.
To ensure that Kenyans have a clean and healthy environment. Yeah, actually our motto is mazingira yetu, uhai wetu, wajibu wetu. Our environment, our life, our responsibility. Yes.
That is beautiful.
Yes.
And over the last couple of months, I know by the time this airs, we're in December, but since I can say October, September, we've been seeing the county government do a lot of noise monitoring around clubs, around churches that are very noisy. We've been seeing some get shut down. These are directives coming from Nema, or how is you said the county government is involved in doing that,
yes.
But is this a directive now coming from Nema? Because for a long time we've not been seeing them doing that.
You've not been seeing, especially Nema. Now, when the devolved government came in, where like something like health, it is managed by the county government.
Yes.
So we call them the devolved functions of the national government. One of them also being the noise pollution. From Nema, we devolved it to the county government.
Okay.
They are supposed to manage that. That's why nowadays we are seeing team from the county government of Nairobi walking around and closing clubs that are making noise.
Even churches.
But and churches, because when it comes to noise, it is everybody. Even the churches where we also belong.
There are some that are very noisy and they're in residential areas.
Yes, and they're in residential areas. So we work hand in hand with the county government. We help them where they can't. I remember, like, for noise, for you to prosecute somebody who is making noise, you can't just go and say, this one was making noise. You have to have evidence. Evidence comes from, you have measured.
Yeah, there's that car.
So there's this gadget that we have.
I don't even check
the noise meters.
It's called that.
Yes, some of them may not have them.
Yeah.
Nema, we had them that time when we were, before the noise pollution had not been devolved to the county government. We used to have all that. So sometimes we work hand in hand in them to help them where they can't. So you will see, when you see the county government, maybe behind them there is an officer from Nema.
Okay.
Yes, they may not be alone per se. Where they really need us, we may have to be there. So we work hand in hand with them.
You said Nema gets involved a lot on environment where a lot of activities are taking place. We've heard of stories of kuna kwanga na scandals za riparian land, sijui uwezi jenga wapi. Can you tell us some of those environments that are very crucial that some activities cannot take place?
We have places where people are prohibited from building, especially the riparian lands. It is that terrain near a river or a source of water, a lake, because of the waters near there, and especially even when it floods. When it rains and it floods, you can imagine what happens. And so people are not allowed to build there. We also have like wetlands. Wetlands are these swampy areas, where it is not a river per se or water that is flowing, but there is water that is just there. Do I use the word standing?
Stagnant.
Stagnant,
yeah.
Yes. Stagnant water. Just there. That is a wetland. And we know wetlands because of the vegetation that is there. You can tell this one is a wetland. So we also don't allow people to build there. And if I can ask people, if you go to our Environmental Management and Coordination Act, we have there are places listed where we don't allow some activities to go on. And before people put up buildings, especially because you have talked about buildings, there is what at Nema we do what is called the EIA, Environmental Impact Assessment. This one we do on projects to assess the effect of a project on the environment. The effect could be positive or negative, you know. People may gain from a building coming up here, or there could be some negative effects on the environment. We carry out that. Nema does not carry it. Our officers, the officers working at Nema, don't do it per se, but we have what Nema is also responsible for maintaining a lead experts register. Lead register. These are people who have done, let's say, environmental science, and they are experts now in knowing how a project can harm the environment. You know, they are in that field of environmental management, and depending on their education, so they bring in documents to us, and we license them. So they are licensed at Nema. Of course, there is a fee that is charged at Nema for you to be a lead expert. And these are the people now, the public, who are putting up buildings, and not all kinds of buildings you get there are supposed to come to us. We can lead the public to them, so that they can carry out that environmental impact assessment. It's a report telling us this building, if it comes up here, there will be the soil be affected like this, the pollution, the air pollution, the water, and everything to do with the environment. And when we come to projects, people doing projects, of course, on the environment, there are projects that we call medium risk. Those are projects that may not need an EIA, an environmental impact assessment. There are those that we call medium. It depends. And this one, we also have a list of them. And there are those ones that we say that they are high risk. Yes, medium risk, low risk, and high risk. the high risk are the ones that really we give we do the environmental impact assessment. Yes. These are like petrol stations. Like the one down here, it's a high risk. Yeah, so we have to give an EIA for that. Others are like dams. Others are like roads, by the way. We also do that for roads. Yes, for roads. Let's say some town is to be started somewhere. A town inaanzishwa mahali. We also do that. And before we also do that, Nema conducts a public hearing. We want to hear what the people are saying. They want to put up a dam here at Roiro. Are people here okay with that dam? I mean, yes. Or not only a dam, like dump sites. You know the Dadora? It has some effect.
Yes.
So, and people are putting up small dump site everywhere. Even those ones we license to see the effect it will have, not only on people but also on the environment, and vice versa. So that is it. That's what we do when it comes to projects and all that. We do that to ensure that people are not harmed. Remember, we are mandated to, and MCA, I think in Article 42 gives Kenyans the assurance of a clean and healthy environment. So we try to keep up to that. Yes.
It's interesting you've mentioned about something like a petrol station or riparian land. We've seen these cases on the news. Buildings that have been erected in such areas. Not so long ago, we saw a gas filling station blow up. Was it in Embakasi?
Embakasi.
Such things do happen, and you said that you guys license such businesses to be put in such areas. And I know that. So when such things happen, like the explosion that happened at Embakasi, who is responsible? Because as Nema, you guys are those who are dishing out certificates and licenses for such high risk businesses, high risk. What have we called them?
Projects,
high risk projects to be put up in such an area. So now an explosion has happened at Embakasi. There are casualties. A license has been dished.
Yes. Well, that one is a hard one, but you see some of these ones, like I said, they are put up illegally behind, and you see, Nema, we are still not yet so big, so big. We are a bit constrained in terms of staffing. So, okay, here Nairobi hii ilikuwa karibu, but some are just put up illegally somewhere. Hizo project hata utazipata on the main road, utazipata they are somewhere inside before you even get there, my friend. You know, and sometimes we don't get to know about them only unfortunately only when such a thing has happened, the explosion. Unfortunately, also sometimes you know this Kirinyaga Road, sometimes there are some documents that come from there that are not very legit. Somebody will say we were licensed by Nema, but when you check, it is not Nema. Maybe it is not Nema,
it's just a license.
But we really regret when some things like those ones happen. Because I know Nema is very committed to taking care of the environment, because that's our mandate. And we look forward to ensuring that every Kenyan has enjoys a clean and healthy environment. So Tracy, I can only say it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate.
When these things happen, Nema is not aware.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. When those projects are started, sometimes we may not. You remember the case of a dam that burst in Naivasha. Yeah, and you see such things will happen. Maybe Nema was involved in the doing of or it was not. Maybe there is the structural part of a dam, and you see it burst. So it's unfortunate. I can only say it's unfortunate.
And what about these people who live in areas where during heavy rains their rivers burst open? Is Nema responsible for evacuating them?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. Like you saw the ones near, where is this? Is it Gomogo somewhere in these slums? The one that happened recently when there was the rains.
I can't recall.
There was one that happened, but Nema doesn't do that. You see, they are just people who have put up their structures where they are not supposed to be. And that's why I told you, remember, that we work with many stakeholders. Like now there is also the lands, Ministry of Lands, you know, the Commission under Lands. We work with them so that people who have built houses where they are not supposed to build, they find a way of relocating them. So I can say that we are not, but sometimes Nema will advise the government. These people have built here. Is it possible to relocate them? Because we may not be able to relocate them ourselves. Nema cannot do that. Yes. Our work is just to ensure that those who have built there, either they move to supervise. You remember the word?
Yeah,
to supervise and to coordinate matters environment.
Okay.
So ours, we will be focused on the environment more than
the people.
We are relocating these people. Kunaitwa kutoa watu forcefully, you know.
Okay.
Yes.
I remember the transition from the plastic paper bags to these disposable ones. I think you were still working at Nema.
Yes.
Because it's not siya kitambo sa
2017.
That is when it happened.
Yes. How
did the organization come up with that decision? Because it was strict. In 2017, it was very strict. We saw a huge shift.
Yes.
A lot of people, kwanza ulikuwa unaonekana na karatasi, no one wants to be around you because ulikuwa unaambiwa officer wanema wako kwa ground. Yeah. So what prompted such decision?
Even now we do it softly. Like me, when I visit, like me, you cannot pack for me carrots that are in a plastic paper bag. You can't. I will not have peace in my house.
Yeah.
Mom, you are the ones who say, and now you have brought us so me, I carry my bag. If I don't have my bag, I tell them it's either you pack for me elsewhere or I don't buy your carrots.
Wow.
And that's you remember we talked about our environment, our life, our responsibility. I'm just being responsible. So Nema, coming back to your question, Nema being mandated to supervise and coordinate all matters environment. So it is in us. It is our work to ensure that the environment is clean. Okay. You remember that time of the plastic bags? We were seeing white things and flying things, some hanging on trees. The trees had some
white things,
some white things, and especially when you go to places where the trees have thorns.
True.
You see that very one will attract the paper bags because they will be blown by the wind and they will go and they will stick on a tree, and very many of them. So the environment was dirty, Tracy. That was our motivation. So what can we do? I believe Nema sat down and said, what can we do to clean this mess? And also learning from our neighbor. If Rwanda has done it, why not Kenya? Okay, so I believe that is the motivation to just ensure that Kenyans are enjoying a clean. I know you love it now. What you see, you don't see them anymore. And even if you see them, they are very minimal. They are very few. So that was our motivation to just provide Kenyans with a clean and healthy environment, because that's our vision, our motto.
And it has worked.
In your opinion, has it worked?
It
has not been easy. I can tell you, even now, if you walk around, you see some plastic paper bags that have been that are being used by especially in green groceries. Easy sokondogodongo. They are still using them, unfortunately, but not as it is.
Not as much,
But they are being smuggled into our country from our neighboring countries. Like Uganda, we know they are still using them. So they will be smuggled. But Nema is still working on it. We don't stop. We are ambassadors in our own small ways. Remember also, I want to say here that our work is also a bit risky. You don't want to go and arrest somebody just like the way I am. I go to a green grocer and I'm arresting somebody. Kuja hapa unatumia karatasi. We don't do that because it's not very secure. They might turn on you and they start beating you.
True.
So we also have a police unit, by the way. We didn't talk about that. When we are doing our work, we have a full-fledged police unit with almost 20 policemen. You may not know them because most of the time they are in plain
clothes.
Yes. Only when we are going maybe to a ceremonial function, you see them in their uniform. But we have a police unit at Nema headquarters. So every time we are going out for inspection, we do inspection. We call them environmental inspections. And we have officers at Nema who do that work. We call them environmental inspectors. We have a whole department or subsection that does that. They will go out inspecting. Most of the times you will not find them in the office. They will be out there. And so they will be accompanied by these policemen because of the nature of our work. And so that even where there is need for arrest, wamebeba hizo vitu zao za pingu watakuweka na watakuweka kwa gari na utabebwa. So we came to that because of the plastic bags. So we do inspections. We might do them randomly. We might decide today we are going to the Royal Market. And we can arrest there. People can be arrested and they are taken to court. I told you we also have a legal department. So we do all that to ensure that these plastic papers are not coming back to our country. As you can see now, it is clean. It is clean. Yes.
It is true.
Yes.
On that, can you also say, or does Nema conduct environmental sensitization?
Yes.
Educating the masses on the importance of clean environments, or even why should you not build in such areas? Do you guys do that?
We do. Like me, I belong to that department.
Okay.
Yes, I do. Because remember, I talked about the information. I was employed in Nema because of my profession as an information manager. And information falls under now at Nema there is this department where now I belong. It is called Environmental Education, Awareness and Training.
Okay.
It's a name of a department. How many things do? We do awareness and we do training. Yes. Sometimes like when at the ASK, I'm looking for that. The show, we go there because there we know we meet public. We have a booth. We set up a booth, and people will come to our booth, and they will be talked to. They will be trained. They will be they will answer questions. Many people have many questions about the environment and all that. We take advantage of that. We also do exhibitions. We do exhibitions where there are workshops, where there are conferences to do with the environment, or where we are invited. We have this World Environment Days.
Yeah.
You know them?
Yeah, I
we
can't
have
remember
the
the
World
date,
Environment Day that comes on 5th of June. We have the World Wetlands Day that is coming up on 1st of February. Somebody can check that for me. Yeah, I think it's on 1st of February, where we have the World Wetlands Day. We have the World Oceans Day. You see these things, they are all under environment. We have several. World Day to combat desertification. It is also under us. And we usually have national functions. This year, 2024, the World Environment Day, which is a global event.
Yes, it is.
And a day. We held the national event in Embu. At the Embu University. And people will come, and we will invite our stakeholders to come. Speeches are given. Actually, our main guest is usually the CS, the cabinet secretary.
Of environment.
Yes, will be our chief guest, and many others. We also work hand in hand with UNEP, because they also handle the environment. And so we take advantage of such events to create awareness, and anywhere where we find an opportunity, to make sure that people are aware. Sometimes we can do road shows. Yes, we can do road shows. Sometimes we go to schools, we go to colleges. Before those events, sometimes we have what we call the build-up activities towards a World Environmental Day. Like this year, I'll talk about this year more. Before we went to Embu, a week before, we had even debates with the TVETs, where students meet and they are competing, and we will give them trophies, the winners. We will start from the institutional level to the regional level to the national level. You see, when students are debating on matters environment, you give them a slogan to debate about, but it must be in the field of environment. We are creating awareness. People are coming and listening. Yes, you have also seen us in the media. Recently, I have seen our officers before the prime time news. There is this that the Citizen nowadays has that is called the town hall. Have you seen that?
Citizen town hall.
I've seen our officers come and talk to people, and especially we are so passionate lately of waste management, the way waste is being managed in Kenya. So we have had our officers come and talk about it and what we expect of the citizens. So we try to take, so we use the media, schools, everywhere, every opportunity we do. Remember, my work at Nema is to handle information. We also do a lot of publishing, Tracy. If you come to our office there and our small library I told you we have, which is under our department now, you will see a lot that Nema has published, which entails the environment. So that sometimes we go out giving brochures, flyers, booklets, and especially at the show, we give people a lot of publications. Some of them we summarize them. I'm now involved a lot in this. Now that's where I come in. Yes, a lot of summarizing a big document. There is one document that we do after every 2 years called the State of Environment, SOE. We call it the State of Environment. Our officers in our research department, I told you Nema has many departments. I've mentioned several. Yes, we have a whole research department, including a GIS lab. People who go out to collect information on what is happening using drones and all that. They will collect information and come, and we do that document that gives the state of our environment after maybe 2 years or so. That is geared towards creating awareness. Yeah.
Okay. The issue of the Dandora dump site has always been a conversation. Some people say it's harmful. Some other people have come out and said that their source of livelihood, they collect scrap metals or bottles, and now that's what they're living with. But a lot of times we've had people say that it's harmful. It's harmful, but it has not changed.
Yes.
Dandora dump site has remained to be the same place over the years. Should we ever expect your dump site itaisha?
Yes, itaisha. Lately, Nema is working hand in hand with other stakeholders to start what we are calling the MRF. Material recovery facilities. Instead of your waste being taken to a dump site, we will have these facilities which they are still being modified and all that, where waste, you may realize we will not even have any waste at the end of the day. When waste is taken there, it is sorted, and we say, what is waste to you, Tracy? May not be waste to me.
True.
So when this, remember we have called it material recovery. We want to recover from that waste. We want to recover as much as we can. Even such that what is being disposed of, is that which cannot be recycled, cannot be used. And we are working towards that. I know like there is one coming up in Taita, a material recovery facility, and every other county will have such. It is still we are still in the process of doing that. So your question whether the Dandora will come to an end, whether we will not have it anymore, we will. And Nema is so passionate about this, and we are working with stakeholders like I can mention JICA. Yes,
I've never
to help us. JICA is Japan's something. It is managed by the Japanese. Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. So with Nema, you are not. Are you involved in? You said construction of buildings, but not all kinds of buildings. Residential areas, residential buildings.
Residential. We don't like somebody who is building their own house, a 3-bedroomed house. At most you can only build a 4. Kuna zile za 5 maybe. But that one to us is not a very big project. So for that we don't do the environmental impact assessment. But you see, like if it's a story building, you see the ones that are collapsing.
Yeah, like the one that
we will work hand in hand with the NCA, National Construction Authority. Then they will come in to do their assessment on the structural part of it, the engineering, the way they will build that building to come up and be strong. Nema will come in to check where this building is being put up environmentally. You know the soil.
Okay.
You know the diverse the ecosystem, what surrounds that building to us is okay. Okay. And only that, yes. But we work hand in hand with the NCA.
Okay.
We will check on the environmental part of it. They will check on the structure, yes, of the building.
Over the years, 14 years working at Nema. What is one of the most interesting projects you've had to be part of?
Yeah. It is this one of banning the plastic bags. And everybody in Nema, I tell you that time, we were out. We were going to markets to create. We first, of course, before we start arresting people, Tracy, we create awareness. We first went and created awareness and told people, don't use the plastics, use the alternatives to plastics, which are woven bags.
They're reusable.
You remember the supermarkets were the ones that were really disposing a lot to the environment through when people shop.
True.
Yes. True. And you would come there kama uko na items 20 sabuni yako inawekwa kwa paper bag nyingine. Kwa hiyo sabuni inawekwa kwa paper bag nyingine. Ukitoka hapo Tracy umetoka na paper bags kama 15, 20. Now we don't see them. True. They have this reusable.
And they look really good.
Yes, and they are pretty, they are nice, which you can use it not once off. We are very much against once off plastics. And on this, as we are talking about plastics, I want to say also what Nema has allowed, you might see some, are the industrial plastics, the ones that are branded. Is it Superloaf? You will know this one is from Superloaf. But again, I want also to come to something else that we are calling the EPR. The EPR is where we want to take the producers or those who are bringing in things even from outside Kenya responsible of the things they are bringing in the country. Are they harmful? Okay. And especially if you look at the Pampers, such things, yes, it is helpful to us, but what is the effect of a pamper on the environment? And remember, a pamper does not biodegrade.
Yeah, it's not biodegradable.
It will not rot to be like manure kind of. So we are also on that producer responsibility. Producers being responsible of what they are bringing into the country. Back to your question, which was what?
The interesting.
The interesting
project
bit I've ever involved in was that one of banning the plastic bags. It was very interesting and interesting in the fact that we knew at the end of the day we will have a clean environment. Not interesting in the fact that we are going to arrest people. That part of being arresting people, by the way, we don't like it. We don't like it. I wish Kenyans can only comply with our regulations, which are several, about 10 of them. And we wouldn't go out arresting. We would work with a very compliance team of Kenyans, you know. And it was interesting in the fact that I knew where Kenya would get to. I knew those field things that are even blocking our sewerage systems. I would not see them. I knew Kenya would be clean. I knew maybe the level of cancer in our country would go down. Why? Because can you imagine, they use even these plastics to pack chips, which are hot, and you know these plastic bags, they are made from some chemicals. Imagine, I think some of them are even made from petroleum. You know, there are some chemicals which are getting into your food, and you are there ignorantly. You are enjoying your chips from that plastic bag. Little do you know what you are taking to your food, to your body, which may be harmful to you. So it was that to me that made me feel so much interested in it. And it's our at Nema we say that it's our major achievement. It's one of a very major achievement. That one hiyo nayo mnasemanga aje hiyo nayo tuliwin big.
Yeah.
Yes.
Should we also look forward to the banning of plastic bottles?
Yes, I was getting to that.
Yes, because zimekuwa nyingi.
Yeah. And Nema is noticing that if you look at the sewerage systems, mitaro, utaona chupa zimejaa huko. Okay? And there is that debate that is going on. Alternatively, we are telling people to recycle. Okay? To recycle them so that they are not so much into our environment. We are educating people not to throw, even as we are looking forward to banning those ones and telling people kama unaenda mahali beba maji na chupa yako. True. Kama hii, and that's why you see Nema already has one. Okay, leading a bottle that I can use today to carry my water and tomorrow, and I'm not using the plastic. Remember, we have the reuse, refuse, recycle, reduce, and this one takes me to the circular economy. You know, we want Kenya to become a circular economy where everything is being recycled. Something can be waste to you, but it will be recycled to become something else tomorrow. Something else tomorrow. So the plastic bottles
zitaisha.
Hata sisi zitupendezi sana. Zimekuwa nyingi, not only the plastic bottles but also these packaging materials from hotels. Yeah. You know, the plastic spoons, the plastic you know, containers for takeaway food that is being delivered somewhere. You know, those ones are also many, and they are going to our environment, and they are not it's not something that you may use for long. Some of them are not long lasting. Okay, so it's a lot. And that's why also now we are starting the MRFs that I was telling you about, material recovery facility, to make sure that these bottles also now will go there. We have seen them being recycled to being pillars, okay, fencing pillars. We have seen them being recycled to make seats, to make many things. If you come to our exhibitions, when we are doing exhibitions, Tracy, we bring people who are doing recycling, and especially in waste management. We are also training people, Tracy, to do the waste segregation at their homes. It may not be easy, but have you heard our CS, our current CS, Honorable Duale, talking about color coding, that we will have red for hazardous. If you go to hospitals, you have seen where they put those hazardous materials, red
with chemicals,
and we have is it green, and we have another color. It is still being debated, and I know soon Kenyans will create awareness on that, so that people can segregate their waste from the source. We encourage people to segregate waste from the source, especially these big institutions like schools. Have one bin where you can put let's say plastics. Have another bin where you can put biodegradable materials, food, nini. Have another one where you can put our e-waste. I don't know hii mic wakati itaharibika na haitakuwa inatumika, sijui mmepanga kuipeleka wapi. You know, for us it will be e-waste. But it can be recycled and to be something else that is usable in the future.
That's a development I've seen in some major places. You'd find 3 bins, moja imeandikwa reuse, recycle, and another one. So they go and sort them. It makes even their work easier. Because in our estate, Tracy, I don't know whether you have seen this. The people who have been hired by the county government or who are on business to collect waste from our estates, when they collect them,
kwa hizo plastics we call them the liners. They go and collect them somewhere at the end of the day. Wanazihip somewhere. Then there are these, have you seen these people who come kutoa vitu wakimwaga
chakula ya nguruwe and what not.
Yes, have you seen them?
I've seen them.
Yeah, so that work should be done at the source, so that now these people who come to kutoatoa, they are not
it's
there.
It's very easy.
And you see, at the end of the day, they mess up that place. Have you noticed?
They don't clean.
And they don't clean.
And they don't clean them up.
And they don't clean.
True.
Yeah.
That
So
is
if waste is segregated at the source, that will not happen. You have a clean, healthy environment. Yes.
That's amazing. I think we've learned so much about taking care of the environment. I don't know about you, but me, you will not see me with a plastic bottle. Easy zenye mnanuanga huko nje.
Please
I do not want.
Yeah.
I do not want.
Yes.
So that's because responsibility starts with me. You cannot expect someone to keep the environment clean for you. It starts with you. Even people who litter. I personally hate littering. I hate it. I don't like seeing people just throwing papers around. Put it in your pocket and take it at home, because unataka nani akuja kukote.
Remember also, sorry for this.
It's okay.
Remember also, have you seen the beans in matatus? It is Nema
Yes.
We
but that was a rule. There was a time that
every matatu had to have a bean. So that when somebody takes their yogurt in the bus because they are hungry, we may not prohibit them from taking their yogurt in the vehicle, and they are traveling to Mombasa from Nairobi. That's a long journey. You need to take something you had bought. But we asked ourselves, where do those people throw the container, the packet after? You see, they'll throw
outside the window.
Kwa dirisha wanarusha. Inaenda wapi? Kwa environment. That's why we introduced that every public transport vehicle must have a bin. Yes, so that people can throw in their waste there.
I think more emphasis should be brought back, because hizi matatu za saizi zenye zinakuja hazina. So maybe be more vigilant about it. We will see it. Okay. And I wish people knew that taking care of the environment starts with them. Because now when you chew sugar cane and just, or you can yogurt, who do you want to pick it up from?
Yes.
Environment cleanliness should start with you, and I hope our viewers have learned that. Thank you so much, Leah. I know there's so much about the environment that we can learn about. So much. And people should attend the Nema exhibitions so that you can learn a thing or two. Do not be very ignorant about these things. See, obvious. It's not very obvious. There is a lot we can learn. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for giving us your time.
Thank you too.
Thank you for sharing a lot. Najua sasa unaona there's a lot to share. There's a lot to talk about.
For me, Tracy, this was another platform for me to create awareness.
Yes. And people have been educated. Yes.
So the pleasure is mine. Yes.
Thank you.
I'm
so
humbled.
Much. Thank
also for noticing that I am there and I have some information. Yes, to share with the people.
Karibu sana. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
I think unaweza ambia watu kwa heri, and then I will wrap up.
So thank you everybody out there. Because I was here to talk about the environment, I would request that each one of us take responsibility of the environment. Remember, we have said that my environment is my life and it is my responsibility. So if every Kenyan would take care of the environment will be clean, as much as Nema is there to coordinate and supervise all matters to do with the environment. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I hope you've caught that. I hope you've learned something. And I hope you've watched us to this point. So until we meet again, do not forget to subscribe, share, like, leave a comment, follow us on our social media platforms, and you will be up to date with everything that we do. So thank you so much. We love you. See you guys in 2025. Bye.
Bye.